Have you ever wondered what a narcissist does when they realize they can't control you anymore? What their final, most desperate move is when charm fails, guilt doesn't work, and their games no longer pull your strings. According to Carl Jung, it's not what you expect. And it's more dangerous than anything that came before. Because when a narcissist sees your strength, they don't surrender. They strike. There's a terrifying moment that most people miss when dealing with a narcissist, especially those who've done the hard inner work of healing. When they sense their influence slipping, when they see you becoming someone they can't manipulate. They don't walk away with grace. They launch a final psychological assault, one so subtle and deceptive that if you're not prepared, you'll think you're the one losing your mind. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He called it a power inversion crisis, that turning point, when the narcissist realizes that their victim has become psychologically stronger than they are. This isn't just about boundaries or confidence. It's a collapse of their illusion of dominance. And that illusion is the very thing their identity depends on. Jung's work on the shadow self revealed that narcissists don't just deny their weaknesses, they project them. They cast them onto others so they never have to face their own emotional emptiness. That's why when you were wounded, codependent, unsure of yourself, you were perfect for them. You mirrored the pain they refused to acknowledge within themselves, and you allowed them to feel superior. You were their emotional supply. But then you started changing. You started questioning, healing, saying no. Your energy shifted from confusion to clarity, from seeking validation to trusting your inner voice. And in doing so, you became a mirror they could no longer stand to look into. That's when the narcissist reaches into their darkest psychological arsenal and begins what Jung called projection warfare. First, they go after your strength directly, where once they criticized your flaws, now they attack your growth. You've changed, they'll say. You used to be more fun, more loving, more humble. They'll accuse you of being selfish, arrogant, distant. But Jung warned this isn't just criticism. It's targeted psychological sabotage. They're aiming at the exact traits you've worked hardest to reclaim. If you've developed boundaries, they'll call you cold. If you've found your voice, they'll say you're combative. If you finally believe in yourself, they'll brand you as egotistical. Jung called this tactic strength shaming, a method used to make you doubt and ultimately abandon the very qualities that set you free. But the real manipulation hasn't even begun yet. When strength shaming doesn't pull you back under their control, they resort to something even more insidious, nostalgic manipulation. Suddenly, they miss the old you. They romanticize the version of you that they could mold and manage. Remember how we used to be, they'll say. You were happier before all this therapy. You used to laugh more. I miss that person. But Jung saw through this illusion. He recognized it as a psychological trick, a form of emotional time travel, designed to regress you back into their control. They're not longing for you. They're longing for the version of you who made yourself small for them. And if you're not careful, you'll start to long for that version too, simply because it felt safer or more familiar. That's the danger, not that you'll be fooled, but that you'll voluntarily shrink back into who you used to be, just to feel connected again. But it doesn't stop there. According to Jung's later writings, when both strength, shaming, and nostalgic manipulation fail, narcissists will reach for their deadliest weapon, manufactured vulnerability. They suddenly become fragile, helpless, conveniently broken, right as you're becoming whole. They might have a sudden emotional breakdown. They might face a health scare, a crisis at work, a family emergency, and they'll make sure you know about it. Coincidence? Not at all. Jung believed this was calculated empathy, exploitation. He discovered that narcissists keep an invisible ledger of your deepest triggers. What makes you feel responsible? What activates your compassion? What causes you to put your needs last? When you step into your strength, they play the one card they know still works your heart. And if you aren't aware, you'll walk right back into the trap. You'll feel guilty. You'll question your healing. You'll set down your boundaries not because you were wrong to have them, but because someone you once loved suddenly needs saving. But Jung's message here is clear. It's not your job to rescue the person who kept you drowning. The narcissist's wish doesn't want your love. They want your power. And when they sense they're losing it, they will do anything to make you hand it back. But you don't have to. In the next chapter, we'll break down exactly how to recognize this final manipulation in real time and how to respond without losing yourself in the process. Because once you see the game, you can never unsee it. And once you understand your strength is the very thing they fear most, you'll stop apologizing for having it. You see, the narcissist doesn't retreat quietly when they lose control. Instead, they weaponize your empathy. And they do it in a way so calculated, so emotionally manipulative, that it can shake even the strongest person to their core. Carl Jung warned us about this final deceptive tactic. He called it the manufacture of vulnerability. And what makes it so dangerous is that it feels real. According to Jung, narcissists will often engineer a crisis, not stumble into one, but actually create one. They'll sabotage their own relationships, their health, their finances, even their careers. Why? So they can appear broken, helpless, or desperate, just when you finally found your strength. They know the timing matters. They know that your heart is still healing, and they want to reach into that healing and twist it until it fractures. Jung found that these crises serve two powerful purposes. First, they pull you back into the caretaker role, the same role they conditioned you into when you were emotionally dependent on their approval. Second, and more sinister, these crises prove to the narcissists that they still have power over you, that even now, even after all the growth and boundaries, they can still summon you with a flick of emotional distress. But here's where it gets even darker. Carl Jung discovered that narcissists don't just want help, they want a sacrifice. Specifically, the sacrifice of the strength you've worked so hard to build. They want to watch you bend, to watch you give up the very values and limits that now define your freedom. It won't sound like a demand, it'll sound like a plea. It'll sound like, I know you don't usually lend money, but this is different. I know you said you need space, but I really need you right now. I know you're focusing on healing, but can't you help me just this once, just this once? That phrase is a trap Jung warned about, because just this once is never once. It's a crack in the foundation, a signal that your boundaries can be moved. It's not about the request, it's about making you question whether your growth is selfish, whether your needs matter, whether your strength is actually coldness in disguise. And if you give in, if you abandon those boundaries out of guilt, or love or habit, Jung warned you, risk losing everything you've worked so hard to gain. What makes this manipulation so effective is that it feels genuine. The narcissist may truly be going through something difficult, but Jung noticed that they have remarkable control over when, how, and who they share their struggles with. They have friends, they have family, they have options. But they come to you because they know you're the one most likely to care enough to fold. So how do you protect yourself from this last, most emotional form of manipulation? Carl Jung offers a powerful answer, something he called differentiated compassion. It's the ability to care without collapsing, to feel for someone's pain without assuming responsibility for solving it, to witness someone's suffering without offering yourself up as the solution. You can love someone and still say no. You can have empathy without erasing your progress. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that privilege is threatened every time you allow someone else's crisis to dictate your choices. So the question becomes, is helping me become who I truly am? Or is it pulling me back into someone I've already outgrown? Because here's Jung's final piercing insight about narcissists, and it changes everything. They don't hate your strength. They fear it. Why? Because your growth, your peace, your authenticity, these things remind them of what they've refused to pursue in themselves. It shines a mirror on their own avoided work, their unhealed wounds. And so they'll try to dim your light, not because it's offensive, but because it's illuminating. When you stop shrinking to soothe their discomfort, you're not just protecting yourself. You're showing them what's possible when someone chooses truth over performance, healing over manipulation, self-respect over submission. And they hate that. That's why they fight so hard to pull you back in, because your presence has become a quiet revolution. But here's what Carl Jung urges us to remember. Every time you resist, every time you hold your boundary, even when they cry, even when they plead, even when they break down, you are not abandoning them. You are refusing to abandon yourself. True strength, Jung said, isn't about avoiding manipulation. It's about recognizing it, naming it, and still choosing your authentic self, because their final dirty trick, the crisis, the guilt, the performance, it only works if you forget who you are. And now you don't. Now you see the pattern for what it is, a desperate attempt to reclaim control over someone who's already walked away emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. You're not selfish, you're awake. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not cruel, you're choosing life. Carl Jung reminds us that the moment you stop being controllable is the moment you truly begin to live. No crisis, no guilt trip, no breakdown, no matter how convincing, is worth surrendering that freedom.